Good evening and welcome to it. This is the Private Property Podcast and I'm your host, Sibsma Tiela, coming to you live and direct from the property show at the Sandton Convention Center in the heart of Sandton, Johannesburg. We have been telling you, begging you, pleading with you, even giving you free tickets, telling you to come to this thing. Some of you were not able to make it. It's fine. We forgive you. We will not punish you. In fact, we will take care of you and bring you everyone from the property show to the podcast to answer all of your burning questions. My guest today is Mark Berman, who's the MD, otherwise known as the Managing Director of Soundrock Integrated Property Solutions. Mark, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, what are you doing at the property show?
Having a lot of fun, I must say. It's really cool.
First and foremost.
Absolutely.
Having a ball.
Having a ball, because there's so many people. I mean, the place is jam-packed. And all the, I can't even talk, but there's so many people here and so many people giving so much value. We've got guys doing lectures on banking, on refinancing property, it goes on and on and on. And even I got to actually stand up there and do a little bit of a thing.
Okay, so tell us about your thing.
So my thing was myself, Bruno Samawa, and one of the guys from Daniel Kazadi from Sapin. Yeah. And we were up there and we were discussing, from a seller's point of view, what would you do instead of selling your property? Because, for me, you don't want to sell your property. You want to accumulate property. It's an asset class. So you want to keep accumulating. So now you want to sell your house. What's the point? Why don't you retain your house, use the equity inside your house to go and buy another property, rent your property out, redevelop it, develop it, do whatever you want, but just start putting your portfolio together, build your future. Because think about this for a second. In the not too distant future, you're going to want to retire. Some people more close, like me, closer to that line
Where's
than
your
others.
Pension fund, Mark?
Exactly. And that's what this is supposed to be as an asset class. This is your pension fund. Because if you've paid off your property, you've got pure income coming your way forever. So Bruno went through this whole idea of structuring and how to actually structure your business, your whole business scenario. I went through the whole idea of what you can do with your property in terms of subdividing or renting or repurposing it, going through the whole town planning scheme, etc.
Wait, so walk me through that.
Okay, cool. So
I have a property. I'm like, this property is working on my nerves. I want to sell it. And you're like, don't do that. Do this.
Right. So the way that we look at it is, obviously, from a Sapin kind of point of view, we are an ecosystem. So we've got a whole lot of professionals and a bunch of people that are really a power team that can help people. You want to sell your property. I come in and I say, okay, cool. So let's see where it is. So we then analyze where the property is. We then speak to our town planner and say, okay, what can we do with the property? Because let's say it's 1,000 square meters, let's just say. I know instantly that I can subdivide the property. Now the decision comes in, do I want to subdivide it and turn it into 2 houses, or do I want to get a higher density and maybe do a sectional title development? So we take it on that line and we start looking at how we evaluate that. Now you're the property owner. You've never built anything in your life before. How are you going to do this? So here I am. I do a deal with you where you put in the property and then I handle the development. You retain a share. Either we're going to use it as rental stock, or you get your value plus out of the deal because we do a bit of a profit share with you because, everybody's got to win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So these permutations just go on and on and on. And it's really about enhancing yourself, enhancing your property, and having a fantastic property experience.
I mean, that sounds really wonderful. What is Soundrock offering at the property show, particularly?
What we're doing over here is we're trying to get people to realize that even if they're in trouble with their property, that
there's a way out.
There's a way out, and it doesn't have to be a fire sale with a bank. We teach people and we show them there's things like installment sale, which then protects them. They can pay the bond off. They can take a breather, get their credit rating back up again, and then go buy another property. You know what I'm saying? There are options. There's always an option. And we love speaking to people and we like looking at options and we get creative. But also in the back of that, we always make sure that everything's done contractually. So it's not just done on a handshake. Everything's put in writing. That's why Bruno does all our work for us. And what we do is we ensure that everybody's in agreement, that contracts are signed and adhere to from both ways, the seller or now the investor and ourselves. So we like to add value. We like people to grow. We want people to retire wealthy. That's what we don't want the guy to come at the end of the month and sit there and go, okay, cool, take out the jar of the 2-cent pieces, which I don't even think exist anymore.
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay, so
not even the 5 cent.
Not even, eh? So we don't want the jar to be broken open. We want the guys to actually have proper financial success, really.
What is the why behind what you do? You always speak very passionately about your business and about the people that you're trying to help, and it sounds very sort of, you should be running a children's hospital somewhere where the people really need you.
That's funny.
It's very like philanthropic, just this idea of growing and helping one another figure out problems that there are solutions for if you come together and sort of become creative about problem solving. But what is the why for you specifically?
So the why for me was actually given to me by somebody just in passing. I was talking the other day to a friend of mine, Bev, and I was saying to her, I'm doing this mentorship program with a whole bunch of people, and then I was lecturing at UJ the other night. So I was saying, I really love this. And she said to me, no, Mark, the truth is you really love people. And that's what I do. I love people. So anything that's got to do with people and helping people, I like doing. And when you are passionate about what you do, the money comes in the back of that. If you want to be a bean counter, and then you're going to have a really unhappy life. But if you see the satisfaction in the people's faces of who you're dealing with and whose lives you're actually enhancing, that's worth billions. You can't buy that. And that's why I do what I do, because at the end of the day, when you have somebody coming up to you and saying, thank you, what you did was awesome. I love my house. I love my factory. I love the shopping center, whatever it is that I'm involved with. We're doing business because of what you did. People are enhanced by what you did. That makes me worthwhile. It makes me feel useful, and I like feeling useful.
At what moment did you feel most useful?
My most useful moment was when we did the opening of Gugulethu Square in Cape Town. So it was about a 26,000 square meter shopping center many years ago. It was one of the first township developments that was actually out there.
It's a big deal.
Big
because
deal.
Before that, they only had Nyanga Junction, if I remember correctly.
Correct, and a strip mall.
Yeah.
This was a fully enclosed mall with every single national tenant that you can imagine in there. And it was just brilliant. I mean, the day of the opening, I was the MC. Strange. So
he knows it's not strange.
So I'm the MC, and I'm standing up there, and we had the guys from Old Mutual speaking, and the guys from Group 5, etc., and some of the national tenants. And afterwards, I finished everything off, and everybody walked off stage, and there was a little old lady sitting in the front seat, like in the front row, and she was an elder in the community. And as I walked away, like off the stage, I walked towards her, and she stood up, and she had two people standing next to her, and she looked at me, and she called me over. She said, you. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you. And I thought, oh my goodness me, I've done something wrong.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna get it now. Yeah, is one of the elders in the community, and I've put a shopping center in here. She's gonna nuke me. And she said to me, I want to thank you. And I said, for what? Because now I'm a bit taken aback. I'm not expecting. It's like almost like a dichotomy in conversation, you know? And she says to me, you turned Gugulethu from a township into a town. And that, I still get cold shivers, goosebumps all over my body from this. And because it didn't, at that particular point, it wasn't something that I was thinking about. And she said to me, I said, I don't understand. She said, well, all our people used to go into Cape Town and surrounds to go shopping.
Absolutely.
And now they don't have to do it anymore. This is a proper town. And you've done this, and I just have to thank you. And that, for me, was that moment.
I love that so much. So my mother grew up in Gugulethu, NY21. And I remember, obviously, at the time, before you had now taken part in this massive endeavor, mainly people relied on spaza shops that only open at a certain time. If you needed to do big grocery shopping, you'd have to take public transport and go into town or go to Epping and go to the markets. And it was a huge haul, trying to now travel back to where you actually lived and where you were from to bring all of these things, or you'd have to organize a car, borrow someone's car to go and do the shopping. So for me, this story really resonates with me.
Cool.
Personally, because I've seen that firsthand, because that's where I'm from, that's where my mother's from. So now I'm having a goosebump moment.
But that's why I do what I do. There's no other real reason for doing it, because stories like this, like what you're saying right now, make me feel like what I did was a good thing. And that's what I want to do.
Absolutely.
I want to do good things. And I think everybody wants to do that. You just get a bit sidetracked down the line with some other little issues. But when you make a difference in a community, when you do something that people benefit from and you benefit at the same time, because obviously you need to make money out of what you're doing, because otherwise why are you doing it? You need to survive. So it's a kind of like give and take scenario for everybody. And those are the moments that I appreciate the most, is when we do these things and people come up afterwards and you can see the difference that you've made in their lives. And it's a big deal. It really is a big deal.
Mark, before I let you go, if someone is not at the property show, obviously boo to them, but what kind of benefit are you getting from being here? And what would you say to encourage maybe those who are, they're planning property shows, I think, for Durban and Cape Town. Right. So maybe they, in two minds about, should I be part of this? Should I be there? Should I take part? What would you say to those people?
Definitely, you've got to come to the property show. There is so much education to hand, which is just not available under the normal circumstance, especially in the greater crowd of things, because you're sitting there and there are hundreds, if not thousands of people around you, all participating. And then you've got the Q&A sessions after all these lectures, which is just amazing. So things that you might be too scared to ask, which some people are, get asked on your behalf, and you go, that was the question I wanted answered. So that's a very important thing. The second thing is networking. Networking is always a great thing to do. And when you're going around and you see all the stalls and the stands that are there, there's such a massive property experience, because the wealth of knowledge around and the ability to take advantage of the different sectors, the different participants in the property show is incredible, because you'll never get these people in one place at one time. So you can go shopping around and finding out a whole lot of things. I mean, there's all the things from actually funding your property to guaranteeing your property rental to doing a development to doing whatever. I mean, it's just spectacular.
Installing solar, making your home a smart home.
Exactly.
All of it is there.
Totally.
Ladies, gentlemen, they, thems, Mark Berman, the managing director of Soundrock Integrated Property Solutions, not only a successful businessman, not only wildly attractive, but also single. So if you need to find him, you should, do the things that make the pots. That's it from me and the episode today. We are still reporting live from the property show happening at the Sandton Convention Center this whole week, and I will see you tomorrow.